What's going on, everyone? Demon here. I realize that it's been ages since the last time I uploaded anything, so I figure I'd try something a little different, a little new, and one of my bigger passions than video games, being Magic the Gathering. This is going to be the start of a new series called Commander Deck Tech, where I pull up one of my deck lists and go over why I built the deck the way I did. Pretty straightforward. So we're going to start here with the commander of this deck, Rowan, Scion of War. She's a 4/2 human wizard with menace. You can tap her, and spells you cast this turn that are black and or red cost X less to cast, or X is the amount of life you lost this turn. Activate only as a sorcery. So when I first saw this spoiled, I was just kind of like, eh? And I kind of got to thinking about it a little more, and I was like, because I saw her twin brother Will also got a Desparked legendary creature card, but his ability revolves around gaining life, which is quite frankly boring to me. Life gain in Commander, I don't knock people to play it, but I try not to play it like that. One thing you will do a lot of over the course of a game of Commander is lose life. In this case, with this commander, my goal is to make myself lose a lot of life on my own terms and basically try to wipe everybody out. So we'll start with the artifacts here. We have good old Bolas Citadel, which is honestly one of the backbones of this deck if I can get it down. You can look at the top card of your library anytime. You can play the top card of your library. If you cast a spell this way, pay life equal to its converted mana cost rather than pay its mana cost. So this allows me at will to essentially lose as much life as I'd like, as long as there's not a land at the top of my deck. I can also tap it and sacrifice 10 non-land permanents, and each opponent loses 10 life. Decent finisher, not likely to ever come about. Darksteel Plate, just one of my favorite pieces of equipment, just because I want to keep Rowan around. That's a little bit difficult given she's only got 2 toughness, and I've got a lot of stuff in here that hits the entire board at once. So, not a bad inclusion. Lightning Greaves. I also really want to protect her best I can. Probably one of the best pieces of protection equipment, minus the fact that it gives your creature Shroud instead of Hexproof. But with equip cost of 0, you can't really complain. Packed Weapon. This is another really weird one. As long as Packed Weapon is attached to a creature, you don't lose the game for having 0 or less life. When the equipped creature attacks, draw a card and reveal it. The creature gets +X/+X on the turn. You lose X life, where X is that card's mana value. So, this card will essentially allow me to pay as much life as I would like. And I will not lose the game for having 0 or less life. This will synergize with some of the other cards in the deck that you'll see as we go along. But it's also you can very easily get blown out here. If somebody destroys a creature that Packed Weapon is attached to, and I'm at 0 or less life, I automatically lose the game. So, gotta be careful there. Soul Ring, self-explanatory. I know a lot of people don't like the card, it's whatever. With as many copies as I own, there's no point not running them in the deck. Swift of Boots, same reason as Lightning Greaves. Talisman of Indulgence, good way to ramp my mana a little bit as well as ping myself a little bit. Thought Vessel, no maximum hand size. I have a lot of decent card draw in this deck, and having no maximum hand size is pretty much a no-brainer. Whisper Silk Cloak, also gives Shroud and Unblockable. That's one of those cards that I could take it or leave it. Moving on to the creatures. Not a very creature-heavy deck, but some good ones. Arco Flagrant has Squad 2. It can't block, and I can pay 3 life, and it gains indestructible till end of turn. This is one of the repeatable ways of paying as much life as I want. The fact that it can squad if I've got plenty of additional mana laying around, especially if I've already lost a bunch of life and I activate Rowan, I can essentially squad for God only knows how many times. They can't block, but it's fine. Blood Celebrant. This is an old and very weird card. Pay a black, pay 1 life, add 1 mana of any color to your mana pool. So basically, as long as you have 1 black mana available, I can pay as much life as I want to further fuel Rowan's ability. Pretty straightforward. Blood Tracker, 2/2 with flying. Pay it black, pay 2 life, put a +1/+1 counter on Blood Tracker. When it leaves the battlefield, draw a card for each +1/+1 counter on it. So, again, good way to pay life, make this thing bigger. Very evasive threat in the air, and will draw you a bunch of cards when it dies. Pretty good card. Defiler of Flesh, 4/4 with menace. It is an additional cost to cast black permanent spells. You can pay 2 life. These spells cost 1 black less to cast if you played life despite its effect. Only reduces the amount of black mana you pay. Whenever you cast a black permanent spell, target creature gets +1/+1 against menace till end of turn. Again, this is another way to just basically allow me to pay life to cast permanent spells. This is one of the cards that would probably be on the chopping block if I was to add some additional cards into the deck. There's not actually a lot of black permanents in the deck, and most of the ones that are in here don't. I mean, they have, a decent amount of black mana pips, but nothing too crazy. Erebos, God of the Dead. One of my favorite of Theros gods, personally. 5/7 indestructible. As long as your devotion to black is less than 5, it's not a creature. Your opponents can't gain life. One of my favorite things to do is shut down life gain decks. Erebos does a really good job of that. Also, pay 1 in black, pay 2 life, draw a card. Good repeatable way to drop life, even if it's a little bit expensive mana-wise, and drawing cards is always good. Heartless Hideksu. 4/3, I can tap it, and it deals damage to each player equal to half that player's life total rounded down. No brainer. Get that down on, a standstill board. You make everybody lose 20 life. With Rowan, pretty self-explanatory. Good way to have a blowout turn. You do something along the lines of activate him and then Exsanguinate for basically the 20 life you lost. That's an automatic win right there. That'd be kind of funny to pull off. Not likely, but still. Crick, Son of Yawgmoth. This one right here, I could essentially pay 4 colorless mana and 6 life for. So that's a good way to get Rowan moving. And he also makes it so all the black mana pips in your spells cost black Phyrexian mana. And then whenever you cast a black spell, you put a +1/+1 counter on him. And he has lifelink. So he does everything the deck essentially wants me to do in one neat package. Magus of the Mirror. Tap and sacrifice, exchange life totals of target opponent. Activate this ability only during your upkeep. So let's say previous turn, or I took a lot of damage in one combat. Tap and sacrifice the mages. Switch life totals to the highest life total on the table. Pretty good card. Marshland Bloodcaster. 3/5 flying. Pay 1 in the black and tap. Rather than pay the mana cost of the next spell you cast this turn, you may pay life equal to that spell's mana value. Again, basically what the deck likes to do. Dark Confidant type effect. Boom. Love it. Molten Steel Dragon. 4, costs 4, and 2 Phyrexian red mana. So that right there, same thing with Crick, where I can basically pay 4 colorless and 4 life, or 4/4 with flying, and then it's the activated ability here. That's one of the main reasons I put it in the deck. So pay a red Phyrexian mana, so I can pay 2 life to give it +1/+0 to end of turn. I can do that as many times as I have life. I mean, that's pretty good. Pretty good. Fire breathing is usually decent enough in general, but this is kind of over the top with what Rowan's trying to do. This one's kind of funny. Omnixus the Fallen has a landfall ability. When land enters battlefield in your control, you may have target opponent lose 3 life. If you do, put 3 +1/+1 counters on Omnix. So I'm mainly going to be targeting myself with that, to be perfectly honest. And a really funny way to get Rowan moving. Phyrexian Delver. When it enters the battlefield, return target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield. You lose life equals to that card's converted mana cost. So let's say I have to pitch something expensive. Play the Delver, it comes back into play. I lose a bunch of life, activate Rowan. Again, the entire deck is built around keeping Rowan on the table. If I lose her too many times, don't have a very good shot of winning the game. But it's a very much glass cannon deck. Shard of the Nightbringer. It's an 8/8 with flying and has drain life. When it enters the battlefield, if you cast it, target opponent loses half their life rounded up. You gain life equal to the life lost this way. Another one of those kind of cards designed to kind of equalize life totals with as much life as this deck will lose. Pretty fun card, especially if you can drop it early. I've dropped it as early as like turn 3 in this deck. Quite funny. Soul Drinker. This is another one of those cards that I'm kind of like, I could probably take this out, but still. Pay 3 life, put a +1/+1 counter on Soul Drinker. It is what it is. That's a very expensive source of losing life for a minimal gain, but if I'm going for a blowout turn, I'll take what I can get. Tavern Swindler. Kind of a funny one. Tap, pay 3 life, flip a coin. If you do win the flip, you gain 3 life. Another one of those cards that could probably go on the chopping block, but I'm going to paying 3 life regardless, and if I gain the 6, that's even better. But again, it's a coin flip. It is what it is. Treasonous Ogre. 2/3 with the Throne. Pay 3 life, add a red to your mana pool. Now this is probably one of the better cards in here, along with Blood Celebrant. Pay 3 life, add a red to your mana pool. So you can do things like pay a bunch of life and then cast like Jaya's Immolating Inferno or any like X burn spell. Really good way to kind of throw somebody off their game, because that can be activated anytime. It's not a tap ability. So, and it's a mana ability as well, so it can't be responded to as easily. And last but not least, for creature-wise, we have Villainous Broker Blood. 8/8 with flying, pay a black, and 2 life. Target creature gets -1/+1 until end of turn. Whenever you lose life, draw that many cards. This card's pretty bonkers if I can get it down, and I have enough black mana to do shit with. I'm going to be losing a lot of life, so I'm going to be drawing a lot of cards. So again, I need no maximum hand size. Moving on to enchantments. Most of this stuff is, again, a lot of stuff for drawing cards. Starting with Argyl's Bloodfest. Pay 1 and a black, pay 2 life, draw a card. Beginning of your upkeep, you have 5 or less life, you can transfer in the Blood Pact. Good way to draw cards, good way to get life, a little expensive to activate. If I drop to 5 or less, turns into a land, and I can sack a creature to gain some life if I need it. If I get to that point, I've probably already lost the game, but, Black Market Connections. One of the very pricey card from the Party Titan Precon. At the beginning of your pre-combat main phase, choose 1 or more. Sell contraband, create a treasure token, lose 1 life. Buy information, draw a card, you lose 2 life. Hire a mercenary, create a 3/2 colorless shapeshifter creature token with changeling, you lose 3 life. So, basically, beginning of my pre-combat main phase, pay 6 life and get some pretty good value out of it. Win-win. Dark Tutelage. At the beginning of your upkeep, reveal the top card of your library and put that card in your hand. You lose life equal to its mana value. Drawing an extra card and fueling some life loss for Rowan. Pretty good card. Oops. Font of Agonies. Whenever you pay life, put that many blood counters on Font of Agonies. Pay 1 in the black, remove 4 blood counters from Font of Agonies, destroy target creature. Gonna be paying a lot of life in this deck. Destroying a creature pretty much a will for 2 mana. Pretty good effect. Greed. And that's an oldie but a goodie. Pay a black and 2 life, draw a card. A lot better than like Erebos and Argyl's Bloodfest. Doesn't cost as much mana. Good effect. Now, one of the most powerful cards printed ever, honestly, Necropotence. So, the old text is a little bit difficult to understand, but basically, you skip your draw step, so I don't have to draw any cards. But, as many times as I pay 1 life, I can exile the top card of my library, and at the end of my turn, I put those cards in my hand. If I would discard a card, I exile that card instead. But most of the time with Necropotence, it's all about just paying a bunch of life all at once, especially with Rowan. And then I get all those cards at the end of the turn. If I got no maximum hand size, even better. Moving on to Instance. Bedevil. Destroy target artifact, creature, or planeswalker. Good modality on what I can destroy for 3 mana. Pretty good. Comet Storm. This is one of the finisher type spells in here. 2 red and X, multi-kicker 1. Choose target creature or player, then choose another target creature or player for every time Comet Storm is kicked. It deals X damage to each of them. If I've lost enough life, all that mana can go in X to deal to 1 target, or I can split it up between X and the multi-kicker. Good card. Deadly Relic. Control your mana, you can cast this spell without paying its mana cost. Exile target creature. If I got Rowan down, it's free. Really good card. Glad I got reprinted in Commander Masters. Dismember for 1 colorless and 2 black Phyrexian mana. Target creature gets -5/-5 till end of turn. So basically, 1 mana and 4 life to kill something, even if it's indestructible. -5/-5 will kill most things unless it's, something really big. Still a really good card. Electro Dominance, 2 red and X. It deals X damage to any target. You can cast a card with converted mana cast X or less with hand without paying its mana cost. Good way to potentially finish somebody off and cast something for free. Win-win. Erebos' Intervention, 1 black and X. Choose 1. Target creature gets -X/-X till end of turn. You gain X life. Exile up to twice X cards from graveyards. This is one of those things that's kind of like designed to get rid of big creatures, gain me some life back, or if I really need hate on somebody's graveyard, it gives me the option. So, really good card for this deck. Fire Covenant, as an additional spell to cast this spell, pay X life. It deals X damage divided among any number of target creatures. For 3 mana, essentially pay as much life as I want, clear the board out, potentially leave me open to swing for lethal, or if I just really need to clear the board. Love that card. Vernal Grasp, 1 and a black. It's an instant, destroy target creature, leaves 2 life. Self-explanatory. Going back to really old cards that aren't good, we have Mage's Contest for 2 red and a colorless. You and target spell's controller bid life. You start the bidding with a high bid of 1. In turn order, each player may top the high bid. The bidding ends when the high bid stands. The highest bidder loses life equal to the high bid. If you win the bidding, counter that spell. So, red counter spell. Chances are nobody's going to pay more life than I'm willing to. So if somebody goes to target Rowan during my turn, that's where Mage's Contest comes in. Old card, not a good one. Fun for this deck, though. March of Wretched Sorrow for a black and X. As additional cost to cast this spell, you can cast any number of black cards from your hand. This spell costs 2 less for each card exiled this way. Probably not going to be using that, but it deals X damage to target creature or planeswalker, and you gain X life. Just another way to gain some life back. Moonlight Bargain for 3 and 2 black. Look at the top 5 cards of your library. For each card, put that card into your graveyard unless you pay 2 life, and then put the rest in your hand. So basically 5 mana, 10 life to draw 5 cards. Pretty good. Slaughter for 2 and 2 black. With a buyback of 4 life. Destroy target non-black creature. That creature cannot be regenerated this turn. A good repeatable source of destroying creatures and the ability to get the card back just by paying some life. That's what I'm doing anyways. Pretty good. The better version of that card, Snuff Out. If you control a swamp, you can pay 4 life rather than pay Snuff Out's mana cost. Destroy target non-black creature. Can't be regenerated. Can't buy it back, but it's a free spell. If I've got a swamp, I can guarantee I'll be using it. Starstorm. Basically board wipe. 2 red and X. It deals X damage to each creature. Or I can cycle it if I need it. If I need more of a card late game versus removal. Pretty self-explanatory. And we got Terminate. Oldie but goodie. Destroy target creature can't be regenerated for Rakdos mana. Pretty good. Not much. There's some stuff to speak for on the lands. My land base is a little bit on the pricey side compared to how some of my other decks are. But a lot of it's just in a handful of lands. I mean, Ancient Tomb. Card's played a lot in Eternal formats, which is why it's as expensive as it is. It hasn't gotten too many printings. Its most recent printing was in the Lord of the Rings Relics. So, yeah, I mean, 2 colorless for 2 damage. I'll take that every day. The only other things, Relic Tyrant, no maximum hand size, unblockable. Tarnished Citadel, another good way for me to smack myself upside the head at the cost of getting me a mana of any color. I'll take that any day. Then we got the Black Gate. I can pay 3 life to make it so it doesn't enter tapped. Pretty handy to have around. And activated ability, not overly relevant. Last but not least, we have Sorceries. We got Banefire. It deals X damage to target creature player. If X is 5 or more, it can't be countered by spells or abilities, and damage can't be prevented. A good finisher, or a good way to get something off the board. X will almost always be 5 or more with the way I built the deck. So, no countering it either. Good card. Battle at the Bridge for X and a black has Improvise. Not likely to come up. Target creature gets -X till in the turn you gain X life. Another one of the life drain type spells. Pretty good. Bond of Agony for X and a black. Now, the X in this case isn't mana based, it's how much life I base. Additional cost to play Bond of Agony, pay X life, each other player loses X life. So, if, I've got Pact Weapon down or I'm somehow ahead on life, I can easily just kill everybody all at once. Or, if I'm close to dying anyways, try to take everybody out with me. Burn from Within for X and a red. It deals X damage to our creature player. If a creature is dealt damage this way, it loses indestructible at the end of turn. If that creature would die this turn, exile it instead. Goodbye Pesky Avacyn's or anything with indestructible. Blightsteel Colossus, Darksteel Colossus. Pretty fun card. One of the other finishers, Exsanguinate for 2 black and X. Each opponent loses X life. You gain life equal to the life lost this way. Very easy to have a good blowout turn, and it's hard for a table to recover if I cast this at any sort of value. Love it. Perfect for the deck. Feed the Swarm for 1 and a black. Destroy target creature enchantment opponent controls. You lose life equal to that permanent's mana value. High mana target for 2 mana. Destroy it. Boom. Activate Rowan. Again, all about losing life. Jay's Emulating Inferno for 2 red and X. It deals X damage to each of up to 3 targets. Now, I have to control a legendary creature or a planeswalker. That's generally not going to be an issue. Potentially being able to kill the other 3 players in the pod at the same time. Can't complain. Mana Geyser, so if you're going last and you cast Mana Geyser, chances are, you're going to get a lot more mana than you paid with it. And that's just all gravy for this deck. Appearance of the Abyss for 3 black and 4. Target player draws cards equal to half the number of the cards in their library and loses half their life round up each time. This is one of those cards that, if I get to cast this, I'm drawing a crap load of cards. As long as I've got enough life to pay, and activate Rowan, chances are I probably drew into something that'll allow me to finish the game. Profane Transfusion for 6 and 3 black. 2 target players exchange life totals. You create a XX Colorless Horror artifact creature token where X is the difference between those players' life totals. If I paid a bunch of life in a turn, and I basically use this to swap life totals, same thing with basically Magus in the Mirror. This just has upside because it lets me create a huge ass token in the process. Hard to cast, but a good card. Perforos' Intervention for X and a red. Choose one. Create an X1 red elemental creature token with trample and haste. Sacrifice being in the next end step. It deals twice X damage to target creature or planeswalker. So, good potential removal spell. Or, more importantly, what's probably going to get done with it, I'm going to create a huge elemental token with trample and just smack you upside the head with it. Rain of Daggers for 4 and 2 black. Destroy all of your opponent's creatures. For each creature destroyed this way, you lose 2 life. So this is one of those really weird one-sided board wipes, but potential to lose a lot of life. But again, that's what I want to do. And if I can clear the board and then basically cast something at value, pretty good stuff. Reanimate. Put target creature card from a graveyard into the battlefield under control. You lose life equal to its mana value. You put that Blightsteel Colossus in your graveyard, or like Emrakul, any Eldrazi, anything huge. It's mine for 1 mana, and I lose a bunch of life, which I want to do anyways. Toxic Deluge for 2 and a black. It's an additional cost to cast a spell, pay X life. All creatures get -X till end of turn. It's hard to keep I can't really keep Rowan alive with this card. But what I can do is cast Toxic Deluge and then cast Rowan if I got somebody to give her haste. Pretty good. And then the card I'm starting to run in every deck I have with red, Vandal Blast for 1 red. Destroy target artifact you don't control, or I can overload it for 4 in a red and change that to target 2 each. So one thing I'm starting to realize in Commander, especially nowadays, a lot of people play a lot of really strong artifacts. You need a way to get rid of them. Vandal Blast is a good way to get rid of it. Gets rid of everything but yours, which is even better. So then we got my Maybeboard. These are cards I'm considering for the deck. A lot of these I don't have. I would have to buy. Dark Confidant, kind of a no-brainer for this deck. I don't own one. I'm not sure if I want to buy one for it either. But at the beginning of your upkeep, reveal the top card of your library, put that card in your hand, use life equal to its converted mana cost. Pretty straightforward for this style of deck. Then we got some cards that I'm going to kind of stack together, and that's the Eye of Vecna, Hand of Vecna, and the Book of Vile Darkness. So these are all three of these are designed to work together. The Eye, lose 2 life, draw a card when it enters the battlefield. And at the beginning of your upkeep, you can pay 2. If you do, you draw a card, you lose 2 life. Pretty good for the deck. I just didn't think about it when I was first building it. Got the Hand of Vecna. At the beginning of combat on your turn, equip creature or creature you control named Vecna gets +X/+X till end of turn, where X is the number of cards in your hand. Equip costs 2 or pay 1 life for each card in your hand. Decent way to pay life. Good way to make something a little bit bigger. But that's not 100% why it's in here. Then you got the Book of Vile Darkness. So at the beginning of your end step, if you've lost 2 or more life this turn, which is pretty much a guarantee, create a 2/2 black summon creature token. Tap it and exile the Book of Vile Darkness and artifacts you control named Eye of Vecna and Hand of Vecna. Create Vecna, a legendary 8/8 zombie god creature token with indestructible. It gains all triggered abilities of the exiled cards. You get that. I don't know how well that would work. It would be really hard to pull off, but the cards individually work well enough with the deck that I think it would be fine. This is a card I have here. I was having to decide if I want to put it in here. Many of the ways for 3 and 3 black. You get a star with trample. When you play the many of the ways, pay any amount of life. It has power and toughness equal to that amount. So find a way to give this thing haste, pay it crap load of life, and swing with a massive trampling creature. And then potentially do something afterwards. I mean, the only reason I haven't put it in yet is because I haven't decided how high risk I want to go with this deck just yet. This is another one of those ones I'm iffy on. New My Outcast with 3 and a black. It is a 1/1 with Bushido 2. Whenever it blocks, becomes blocked, gets +2/+2 until end of turn. It can pay 1 black and 5 life to regenerate it. So it's one of those cards that's like a repeatable source of paying life, but it's not a great one. It's not a good creature in the first place. That definitely didn't make the cut before, and I don't know if it ever will, but it's still a consideration. Then we got Phyrexian Processor. Costs 4 colors. When it enters the battlefield, pay any amount of life. Then you can pay 4 and tap it to put an XX black minion creature token on the battlefield, where X is the life paid as Phyrexian Processor entered the battlefield. Good source to pay a bunch of life all at once. Again, I hadn't quite decided if it would really fit in there. Being able to make those creature tokens is nice, but I don't know. Hard to say. Sorin the Mirthless, legendary planeswalker, costs 2 and 2 black. Starts at 4 low, so it has +1. Look at the top card of your library. You can reveal that card, put it in your hand. If you do, you lose life equal to its mana value. So slowly ticking Sorin up, losing life, drawing a card. Not bad. -2 to create a 2/2 black vampire creature token with flying and lifelink. Good if you need a blocker, gain a little bit of life. Then -7, it deals 13 damage to any target. You gain 13 life. It would be, and it's not conceivable to potentially activate Sorin's ult. It's not a great ult, but again, it'll help me stabilize if I was to ever get to it. And then one of the newer cards, the Staff of Completion, which I didn't really think about, and I'm not really sure why. So pay 1 life and tap it, destroy target permanent you own. I have no idea if I would ever use that. I can't think of any reason why. Tap it to pay 2 life, add a mana of any color. 3 mana for a mana rock, pay 2 life to activate it. Not great, but good for this deck. Tap and pay 3 life to proliferate. I do have some sources of counters in the deck, but nothing significant. But it could be one of those things like, somebody got poisoned or something. Proliferating poison counters wouldn't be bad, I guess. And then there's probably the mode I would use more often than not. Pay 2, or tap it, pay 4 life, draw a card. Can only do that once, but paying 4 life, not a bad effect, just draw a card. Can't complain too much. So that is my Rowan Scion of War deck. I will probably do more of these videos as I have time. I have time, but what I don't have is the ability to record in peace and quiet a lot of times. But, this is fun. I love Magic. I love Commander. I love building decks, and I decided just going to try something different and share this with you guys. A Lost Caverns of Ixalan's coming out in a couple weeks. Actually, a week and a half, I should say. I might do an unboxing video for that. I'm really excited for that set as well. Anyways, before I ramble anymore, I'm signing off. Leave a like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. And I'll see y'all in the next video. Bye!